Hi everybody, Cerebra Sana in Paris. It is almost 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon here in Paris. I was trying to figure out how easy it is nowadays to change the language when you're looking up things on Google. I moved it from French to English, and all of the content obviously changed. And I was on the news, Google News. Heavily tattooed gunman was 29, drove mother's car to bar before silently opening fire, source says. Now I read that and I just thought, that sounds strange, so I just kind of quickly went down the page, and what did I see? It does not feel real. California club shooting survivors jump through it. And so obviously this was just bringing back all the memories of something similar that we all heard about in Florida, right? So I just quickly clicked on that link, which took me here, and I immediately started seeing things that, we're used to seeing in these types of events. This person, I'm not going to play the video, but this person is very calmly just recounting the thing. I was watching her eyes. Do they go down to the right? Do they go up to the left? Because that gives you an indication of how memories are stored in your brain. Is your memory stored as a sound memory? Is it stored as a visual memory? Like if you're remembering reading a script kind of thing, the eyes will give you indications of how those memories are stored. So this young woman's behavior seemed extremely calm for having just been shot at, apparently, and I sort of had to chuckle at one point because she says, oh, she had a bar stool thrown at her, which reminded me of our friend who had picked up a couch to protect his head. Anyway, so there was just, I didn't even finish the video. I only got a few seconds in and I was instantly saying, I got to figure out who this person is. So I immediately looked for who she was, and this is how they're spelling her name. And when I did a search for her with the regular dates, without specifying a date range, the only thing that came up was she was everywhere giving the, interviews to everyone. So I changed the date range to a year ago just to see if anything came up about her. And the first thing that comes up is maybe you want to spell her name differently. Now, this is another hallmark of these events where they make a little tiny typo. Is it on purpose, or is it done on, is that really how they spell this person's name? So I noted that. Then there was a link. I decided I'd look for her on Facebook. I came onto the Facebook site, and, it's just all the same sort of nicely lit, staged kinds of scenes that we're all very used to seeing. So when I saw this, the next thought process, I'm actually walking you guys through my thought process, was maybe, let me find an active shooter drill calendar. So I went back to our buddy Google and I just typed in DHS active shooter drill calendar 2018 for California. And up popped this link. This was the first one I looked at, which is this PDF right here, which you can see, Training Information Bulletin, which was just updated for November. And I just started going down the list looking for anything with November in it. I just started searching November 2018. Okay, so here's one that I found, taking place from November 5 to the 8th, which means it would be finishing today. Situation Awareness and Common Operating Procedure. This is FEMA, the emergency management. But there's better. I found better. Before I show you the best, here's another one. That sheep, that sheep manual that I showed you when I had my old channel, the sheep, they give you the basic training of how to participate in one of these activities, one of these drills. That's the sheep program. So there was another one of those taking place today. So here's one that really started to put me on the path here. From November 5 to the 9th in San Luis Obispo, right? So we're in California. And this is in the terrorism and criminal justice category. Officer safety and field tactics, okay? Now, officer safety, this is kind of interesting because if we go back to the news and the headlines, where is it? Officer who rushed to confront the gunman in Thousand Oaks shooting died a hero. Okay, so that's obviously going to tie in with officer safety, right? How do you protect your officers? All right, so when I saw that, when I was looking at this and I checked that it, you can do properties and see, that it's actually, it's a training bulletin. You can see when it was updated, so You can see who wrote it. So they're obviously from the Office of Emergency Services. Okay, that's fine. So now we see that they've got officer safety happening on the same date as this thing is happening. And we've got an officer who died, a hero, right? You always need the hero. So then I went back and I looked at my list, my active shooting list, and then I came down and I found one more link, which was for California, more specifically for California. And that took me here. Okay, this is State Threat Assessment System, but this is how you can register for the exercises. Okay, and look what I just found. November 8th, Thursday, that's today. Behavioral Threat Assessment, Preventing the Active Shooter in Torrance, California. Okay, so obviously what do? We go see. Here's Torrance, California. It's an hour and a half away from Thousand Oaks. I just walked you literally through what I did. I came onto Google to see if I could change the language. The page changed when I changed it to English. This thing came up. I saw it does not feel real, which obviously sparked my interest. I Googled the person, I read the article, I looked at the woman, I listened to how she spoke, I watched how she behaved. It sounded strange. Then I looked for her. We found a spelling mistake in her name. Is this really how they write her name? Or is it just something to make it a little more difficult to actually identify her? And I changed the dates to see if she even existed before this thing happened. And I looked on the Facebook, and that's when I started seeing everything that looked perfectly lit, staged. Everything looked very, very organized. Then I went and I looked to see if there was an active shooter drill happening, and I found bingo, like we've seen in the past. And that's when I decided to look up to see if there would be anything about an active shooter drill happening. And what do I find? Exactly on the day, 1.5 hour drive away. We're talking about a 50-mile drive, okay, away, you have this thing happening. So I am putting this out there as food for thought, and leave your comments below, people. I would love to know what you think about this. Have a good one. Cerebra Sana signing off from Paris. Bye, everybody.